India. Our country is poised at an interesting moment in time. One of the most populated countries in the world, it has some of the densest cities constantly posing challenges on the quality of urban life compared with much of the world. With numerous villages now empowered with new opportunities and purchasing power, development has to address many sensitive issues. We have the unique scenario of a demographically young nation making rapid economic progress and becoming increasingly self-reliant in diverse domains of national life. Institute of Indian Interior Designers is celebrating the coming of age of Indian design during the term of 2015-2017 by focusing on the theme Taking Design to Masses.
Institute of Indian Interior Designers, it's the only apex body of designers having 30 chapter centers across the nation and has the strength and the capacity and capability to form the design policies for this nation of ours.
What I find with the members of IIID is that they're taking arts, philosophies and traditions from the past and harmonizing them with the practices and the needs of the present. And of course, the innovations that are needed for the future. Before you make in India, you have to design in India. And what's interesting is that Indian designers today are taking design to the masses.
Towards this mission, IIID is travelling 25,000 kilometers across the length and breadth of this vast country, with strategic halls in 30 cities over a staggering number of more than 400 events. This Yatra showcases how India's design profession now has the resources and willingness to take the benefits of good design to the country's masses, irrespective of class distinctions and economic divides. In the last episode, the IIID Design Yatra travelled to Kolhapur, Satara and Pune. Now nearing the end of this grand journey, it drives to the city of Ahmednagar. The convoy of cars were handed over to Ahmednagar at Hivde Bazaar, an ideal village in India.
तो बहुत खुशी हो रही है, नैनो अहमदनगर में आ रही है। तो बहुत सारे प्लानिंग किए 15 डेज। एक्चुअली हम लोग तो घर सजाते ही है, ऑफिस सजाते हैं, तो नगर शहर अच्छा सजाएंगे।
ये तो IIID की डिज़ाइन यात्रा जो है तो खुशी इस बात की है, तो आर्किटेक्ट हो, इंजीनियर हो और इंटरनल डिज़ाइनर हो, तीनों मिलके इको फ्रेंडली अगर हम एक प्रेजेंटेशन पूरे भारतवर्ष के लिए अर्बन एरियाज़ हो या रूरल एरियाज़ हो अगर दे देंगे तो मुझे लगता है यात्रा सफल रहेगी।
The Yatra in Ahmednagar conducted student competitions and various heritage walks which ended with a theme night. After Ahmednagar, the convoy of cars now reaches Bhopal. The welcoming ceremony in Bhopal was held at the VIP Road. Escorted by Harleys, the convoy passed through popular scenic lake views of the city to finally reach Hotel Noor-Us-Sabha for an official opening of Design Yatra. A heritage walk with architect S.M. Hussain saw IIID members and students join him for an interactive educational session. A visit to the World Heritage Site, Sanchi, offered an exclusive experience to relive the history of that time. A photography competition aptly titled Focus and Click, judged by eminent photographers, brought in wide participation from students of design at the Hotel Jahannam Palace. A design rally that covered major landmarks of the city was flagged off by Honorable Minister of State Shri Vishwas Sarang, Madhya Pradesh. A two-day-long art and design festival was inaugurated at Gauhar Mahal by Mr. Anthony Desa, Chairman RERA, retired Chief Secretary of Madhya Pradesh. The festival saw works of visual arts, ceramic artists, textile designers, photographers, graphic artists and furniture designers being showcased. a workshop on smart city was organized that saw renowned speakers like Chavi Bhardwaj, Commissioner Nagar Nigam Bhopal, and Chandramouli Shukla, CEO Smart Cities Bhopal, give their brief about the ground realities of the Smart City project of Bhopal. A discussion was similarly held on the same subject of Bhopal as a smart city at the Samanvaya Bhavan. As part of their social initiative, the Bhopal chapter of IIID has also taken up the responsibility to construct newly designed toilet blocks in a school called the Glorious Academy. IIID members, in collaboration with the IIID Bhopal, organized what they call a heritage dress-up ramp walk in the central atrium of DB Mall. Graced by Pratap Jadhav, architect Jabin Zacharias, and architect Jignesh Modi, the customary theme night marked the end of the Bhopal leg of Design Yatra.
We got a good response from the government officials, wherein they invited us to interact with them directly and to discuss the problems which we have showcased during the Yatra. That was one very positive thing which happened with Bhopal.
In its next and the very last stop, the Design Yatra now reaches back to the very city from where it first set off, Indore, the commercial capital of Madhya Pradesh. An event here saw IIID members visiting a school they helped equip itself with basic amenities.
पहले तुम स्कूल में आते थे जब तुम लोगों को जमीन पे बैठना पड़ता था, अब तुम लोगों को टेबल्स मिल गई है, कलर बहुत अच्छा हो गया है, पैसेज में भी ग्राफिक्स बना दिए बच्चों ने, डिजाइनें बनाई है, तो तुमको क्या लगता है, क्या चेंज लगता है?
जैसे स्कूल में पंखे,
हाँ, और
ये स्कूल आगे तक होना चाहिए, और जैसे बच्चे दूर तक आते हैं तो उन्हें भी आने की कुछ सुविधाएं होनी चाहिए।
बहुत अच्छी बात है, हम लोग सभी कोशिश करेंगे।
The visit next was to the Dali College, a heritage building of Indore, the old assembly hall of which has been restored by IIID Indore chairperson Ms. Pragati Jain. A prominent next in the agenda was a trip to Maheshwar, the city of temples, ghats and home to the famous Maheshwari saris. The mesmerizing architecture of the temples lent themselves majestically as IIID members took a boat ride down River Narmada. EC members and chapter chairmen joined the Indore leg where the Yatra was coming to a closure. They visited places that still intimately preserve the history of the city in more ways than one.
We talked on the construction technologies, materials was used, and that time what was the equipments and other things. So we like to promote this thing to the young designers.
Finally, it was time for the great grand finale in Indore, a ceremony put together that is befitting to the auspicious Yatra. Chapter chairpersons from all 29 chapters came in to mark a conclusion, which in many ways is also symbolic of a beginning, of new hope and renewed determination, and of joy and reaffirmed focus. Greeting them with heartfelt appreciation and gratitude was none other than Mr. Pratap Jadhav, President IIID.
नापेंगे आसमां हम लेकर ऊंची उड़ान पूरे होंगे अरमान बदलेंगे ये जहां.
The convoy of cars that have now clocked thousands of kilometers were welcomed back one last time with fervour and a display of splendour. As cultural performances added charm to the event, it was also one where emotions ran high among all IIID members.
We had a very specific purpose, a design elite nation, a design aware of fraternity, a design empowered population, a better India.
IIID also rightfully felicitated all its sponsors and stakeholders who stood by this never-taken-before campaign.
Design Yatra, the mission
accomplished, dream coming true with the dream team. I was wondering, how does the organization work? How to motivate members? How do you inspire them to participate? How do you make professionals volunteers? How do you make volunteers activists? How do you make professionals drivers to drive a mission? How do you transform cities? How do you change minds? How do you change people? How do you make people dream? How do you make their dream comes true? How do you think of changing the whole world through an organization like ours? I believe we just found a solution. Design Yatra.
The best part in IIID is no one wants to look back, everyone wants to move forward and say that we have gone one step ahead. That is the strength of IIID. That is how we work, that is how we move, and that is how we think about things in general.
भारत का स्वर्णिम गौरव वापस हम लाएंगे.
Laced with panel discussions by eminent architects, as the night sky stood witness to this resplendent occasion, it was soon time to capture the moment. Freeze it for posterity, for each member of IIID to remember, take pride in and cherish what has been a remarkable journey of discovery and offering for all times to come.
The brand Trojan has a mission. The mission is to take the brand and its products to every district in the country. IIID has attempted to do the same thing through its Design Yatra by taking it to 30 cities in the country. So there is a kind of a synergy between these two missions, and I think that is exactly what attracted us to the IIID.
I've had the pleasure of knowing some of the leaders of the IIID and been present at the conception and the starting of the Design Yatra. I think it was a terrific effort to actually do some of the things that we've talked about in this series. That is, to actually take design to the masses, to develop new concepts, to anchor them in sustainability, to build upon the traditions of our culture, and at the same time to reach out to the ordinary people of this country who must ultimately be the beneficiaries of all good design. I think IIID has done a terrific job in this, and I congratulate their leaders and those who've led the Design Yatra for having done what they have to make design an issue for every Indian.
The panelists for today's topic are Habib Khan, Pratap Jadhav, Javeen Zacharias, Sanjeev Vidyarthi, Madhav Joshi.
Welcome to the last episode of Design Yatra's Taking Design to Masses. What a journey it has been. Absolutely amazing and absolutely breathtaking. Now we have to really assess what have we achieved. And to do that, I think I should invite the President first.
I am very happy for having achieved so much. We have generated so much of opportunity in this field of design and have garnered a wonderful support from the fraternity. The wonderful idea of the Yatra, the pilgrimage, we could actually take this mission to the masses by having a dialogue with them. The lyrics which say देश नया रचेंगे दिलों में सबके बसेंगे, I'm sure दिलों में तो हम सबके बस गए, नया देश भी रचेंगे. I feel it just is getting into the DNA of our designers across India, and we have seen wonderful result across this nation. We have been able to make that mark and seen this happiness on the faces of the masses. The interaction that we see, the responses that we have got are phenomenal. So we are feeling emotional about it, and we certainly would want this mission to continue.
Wherever the Yatra was, the involvement of the members of the IIID was so electric. The kind of levels of commitment that you guys had in this entire year of Design Yatra. Javeen, can you tell us something more about this and how Design Yatra has actually achieved the purpose of taking design to masses?
Year anthem for Design Yatra. It was truly an inspiring brief as to what we should do. We worked on various aspects. NatCon happened, intense deliberations, beautiful conclusions. Then as a rejoinder, we went around with Design Yatra panel discussions, giving it direction. We are also coming up with the coffee table book,
Oh, okay.
wherein we are covering all efforts around the world which have taken design to the masses. 29 chapters of IIID actually carrying out socially relevant
Very nice.
projects. We went around the entire country talking to people irrespective of whether he's a man on the street or, as what happened in Baroda, the Maharaja
Maharajas.
himself. We now know the pulse of the country. We have kind of gone with different definitions for design, but all those definitions were undefined. If you ask me about a single definition after Design Yatra, it is socially engaged design.
Socially engaged design. Sanjeev, you would probably say that this will go down into annals of history as something, movement which was unprecedented.
1/5 of the humanity that lives in this country, right? Every fifth person
Is an
in
Indian.
the world is an Indian. And as Zabeen has repeatedly pointed out, the young people, right? And we sort of witnessed it
Young
firsthand
India, yeah.
at the Design Yatra's various stops, how engaged the young were and the students
Yes.
were. For us, that sort of gives us a sense of our own place and time in history. It's even rarer in the history of countries where entire societies take on major building efforts, like India is building roads at this point in time, right? National highways, state highways, village linking roads, money being put in the urban sector, JNNURM, now smart cities, right? This is rare. They're huge, billions of dollars.
Yes.
Nowhere in the world such large,
Correct.
entire, right? And think of the length, breadth, diversity of this country. So this Design Yatra is part of this bigger social and national change. I think it captures a very important moment in our lives, our professionals' life,
Okay.
and the life of design in this country.
Madhav, what should be the design for tomorrow? How we can have a better design?
So there are various initiatives which Zabeen just mentioned. We can have a task force writing the path for future, starting from the vision about the education to looking at what we already have. The entire process has to be also looked at very consciously. Instead of always focusing on reinventing and deliberately thinking out of the box, there are a lot of resource in terms of good design indicators. When the designer domain talks about the processes of design, we can actually start reframing some of the conversational terminologies as well. I mean, we often end up talking about users, but ultimately users are people. We always refer challenges. There are design challenges. In fact, those can be looked at as opportunities. So, and there are various ways we can actually try and correct our thinking about the process itself.
Sanjeev, the modalities of those processes, can we do that?
This is what I really like about IIID. We bring together different individuals who are experts in their own domains and sort of formalizing it through processes where they're looking towards the future, they're trying to anticipate how this would grow, and second as a product. And for me, the product was the event itself. At each of these locales, right, 29 different places, the regional flavors that were brought to bear, right? So that is the product. So it was the interaction at the institutional scale.
Usually what happens in institutions are people are transitory. So what should be done to ensure continuity?
We can put this in the system where taking design to the masses becomes a sustainable project till the time we see the light of the day. Our Council for Interior Design Education is in place. Projects that have been undertaken throughout during the Design Yatra at 30 places will stand as ideas. If we, through our programs, through media, keep on bringing these examples in front of the general masses, I think we'll be able to achieve the sustainability, the kind of leadership that has been groomed over last 2.5 years. We'll take this ahead. It's the right time.
Madhav, can you tell us what should the future look like? What would be the face of design?
Technological advancement itself does not guarantee a good design. You have human-centric skills in Europe or other developed countries. A piece of fabric which is like hand-woven, it has so much value. India still has those processes skills in place. You look at an object and you know that, oh, this looks like a Japanese design. And if you look at a chair or a furniture, you're pretty much sure that it's a Scandinavian design. There has to be a time when people would refer to certain things, object as Indian designs.
That is the key to the future, I guess,
Yes.
right?
I would still look forward to that time where Indian designers are identified with their own uniqueness.
Sanjeev, are Indian designers qualified to go to this level?
The contemporary designers have sort of imbibed the best of the universal dimensions of modern architecture on one hand and India's great traditions on the other hand at a very confident level. My hypothesis is the next generation, or maybe our own generation, would be playing at the global level.
Very interesting observation that you've made. The journey has been absolutely enriching and intrinsically inward looking. Let's have a comment, Javeen.
To quote Shamini Shankar, editor of Insight, she told me Design Yatra was an exploration into herself as a designer and as a person.
Yes.
Empowering young India to be identified as a civilized nation. People with positive thoughts and beautiful minds in happy environments. That was our goal. I want to thank all of you, EC members, chapter chairman, Jignesh Modi, conveners and all the team members, all those drivers, 25,000 kilometers driven. It has like got all of us together to conclude at the end of a pilgrimage. Nothing remains except the wish for a next pilgrimage.
As a head of the organization, I appeal to all of you to join hands, come together and contribute to this nation building. Be our ambassadors to take this mission ahead.
सिर्फ हंगामा खड़ा करना हमारा मकसद न था. सारी कोशिश ये थी, सोच बदलनी चाहिए. और तेरे सीने में न सही, मेरे सीने में सही. हो कहीं भी आग, लेकिन आग लगनी चाहिए. Thank you so much for being with us on the panel. Thank you. Thank you so much.
IIID's design pilgrimage has taken us through the length and breadth of this vast country in the last 12 weeks. In its stride, it has made a key difference to the manner in which we conventionally look at living spaces. A land of plenty and abundance in many ways, and yet falling short of resources, India is complex. Its character manifold and the needs of its people diverse. Schemes created to benefit the public at large often need to bridge the gap between accessibility and inclusion. This is where IIID came in with Design Yatra, bridged many a gap, altered mindsets, drove a campaign that is interventive, went to the very heartlands to engage with the common man, formalized and executed plans that will tell comprehensive stories of welfare in the near future. The Yatra, taking design to the masses, is now well poised. And as members of IIID go back to their drawing boards to design yet another new chapter, one can only hope that the thought design enhances lifestyles percolates down to each and every citizen of this great country.